All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, if you weren't already aware, Black Girl Gamers is one of the ilk that's very similar to what Sweet Baby Inc. is, as far as they're an advisory firm that goes out there and actually advises game companies on DIE projections and all of that kind of stuff, and basically influencing, making their video games more diverse, forcing in all kinds of inclusive nonsense, just agenda kind of BS, right? So sweet, and another fun fact about the Black Girl Gamers too is they're actually funded by the Canadian government. So any of you Canadians out there, enjoy the fact that your tax dollars are going towards this kind of thing, and maybe try to finally straighten out your government. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Either way, they decided to go after none other than That Park Place, WDW Pro, and all of the rest of those wonderful, fine folks over there covering all the crazy and insane news going on with Disney and pop culture. Those guys are absolutely wonderful. They're great folks. Love them. Been following That Park Place on their news website long before they ever had a YouTube channel, long before WDW Pro came out as the face of all this kind of stuff, and I have absolutely loved them ever since. And it's funny because this is what they did. All they did was write an article over what Black Girl Gamers had stated on their social media posts, right? And essentially what it was they said, and their website says that they are a company ran by diverse people, right? Minority operated, right? Now, you've seen the thing where it's like minority owned, right? Minority owned is a great way to get federal grants and all kinds of stuff like that, right? But they didn't say minority owned. They said minority operated, right? Now, also, if you go on their website to even get access to their forums specifically say you cannot be a white, straight male and join their forums, right? Like, it's literally all over their stuff. Their own hiring requirements, their actual job listings are hidden, right? Are hidden behind a password protected program. So you can't even see what their job requirements are, right? Without requesting a password from them. And what do you want to bet? The second they look at you and realize you're not a black female, or much like our dear sweet Gothics, a black female who doesn't agree with their agenda or their politics, what do you want to bet you're not going to get the password to be able to go to those job postings and apply, even though they claim to be an equally opportunity employer, which obviously, based on their own announcements and the own things they put out there on social media, is pretty much verifiably false, or at least is very suggestively false by what they stated. So what did they do? Shout out to good old John Trent over at That Park Place. He wrote an article calling them out over it. Link is showing all of the links. And then there was some other great little sleuths out there on the internet that did other things about it, finding even more aspects, digging even more into the website. The guy that was responsible for all the Sweet Baby Inc. stuff, he was the one that was digging into all of that kind of stuff, and I can't ever remember how to pronounce his name. But he's supposed to be on Tuesday night's main event again. He was just on Tuesday night's main event not too long ago. But literally, that guy is one of those situations where he dug into the website. He's the one that buried into all this and found all this stuff. So shout out to him for doing that. Well, because That Park Place simply posted this information, posted these findings, all of this publicly available on their social media, well, then Black Girl Gamers decided to get all in their panties in a bunch and decided to threaten legal action against not only That Park Place, but they even claimed to care to take legal action against anyone who just reshared or reposted the article. Well, come at me, Black Girl Gamers. I did a whole video over it. And look, now we're talking about it again. So here's this idiotic cease and desist order. We're not going to go over all of it because it's just a bunch of nonsense and it's just a bunch of garbage. But here it is. MCO Law Team, right? Wherever these guys are from. March 27th, 2024. Dear Mr. Trent, please be advised that our form is retained by Miss J.N. Lopez, CEO of Black Girl Gamers, Inc., hereinafter known as BGG. As you know, I'm sure we can't figure out anything else better to come up with as an acronym for BGG, now can we? As you know, Miss Lopez and BGG are well known in the gaming community. Yeah, not in a good way anymore. Our firm was retained because Miss Lopez observed a series of unwarranted and defamatory attacks against her character and reputation made by you and various online commentators who follow or share your views. These false, unwarranted, and defamatory attacks are also directed at BGG. Additionally, Miss Lopez observed that you have publicly used her name, image, and likeness without her prior authorization on your website. If it's on a public profile, in a public sphere, we don't need your permission. It's called fair use. You should look it up. if you're in an interview or if you're in anything that's published or put out there in the public area, we get to use it. The fact that a law firm even wrote this up is insane and shows you that they're just bolstering. That's the reason why, like, Andrew Esquire Legal Mindset completely and totally ripped this apart. If you want a complete and total breakdown, just throwing this all out the window, just completely and totally trashing all of it, go check out Andrew's stuff because he does incredible work on this. But this is literally what it is. We demand you immediately cease and desist from posting or displaying any videos or comments about Miss Lopez and Black Girl Gamers. We demand that by April 5th, 2024, you remove any and all links and references to videos, i.e. YouTube or Twitch. Well, I didn't say that about Rumble. It comments upon or visually depicts Miss Lopez or Black Girls Gamer brand. Well, boys and girls, it's officially 2 April, and they have responded. But this is kind of funny. Please note this law firm does not attempt to restrict legitimate free speech, and we believe the internet is an important medium of dissemination of accurate and truthful information, and for fair comment on issues of interest. However, defamatory comments made by you are unlawfully encroach upon our clients' rights. Yeah. Okay. This letter puts all on notice that should be further defamatory comments about Miss Lopez and BGG. We will have no choice but to recommend that our client pursue all legal causes of action, including the filing of a lawsuit to protect her interests. We'll pursue both monetary damages and attorney fees and costs incurred by our clients as well as the result of legal action. Hey, here's one for you. Lopez and Black Girls Gamers are a bunch of racists! How's that for defamatory? They're a bunch of racists. How do I know this? It's based on their prejudice against white people. Because, yeah, you look up the Oxford definition of racism, unless they've changed it, which wouldn't surprise me. It literally is any unnecessary objections or judgments to a person based on their race, skin color, or ethnic origin. Well, if you're automatically discrediting and discontinuing and separating yourself away from white people and saying that they're not welcome, that's racism, boys and girls. Just like with segregation and Woodrow Wilson, it was racist back then to do it to blacks, and it's racist now to do it to white people, or in this case, anybody who doesn't agree with your ideology, i.e. Gothics, a very strong black woman. Now here is our dear, wonderful Ronald D. Coleman, a man who has argued First Amendment cases and won at, yes, the Supreme Court of the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, if anyone knows his freedom of speech constitutional law, it is our dear sweet Ronald D. Coleman. So here's his response from April 1st. Fitting he put this out on April Fool's Day because that's exactly what Lopez and Black Girls Gamers are, a bunch of fools. By email, Dilo Key Morris Esquire, Morris Curran and O'Keefe PC. J. Ann Lopez, Black Girl Gamers Incorporated. Dear Mr. Morris, we represent That Park Place, TPP, its principals and employees, and we write in response to yours of March 27th, 2024. We have reviewed your demands, and on consideration, find them both meritless and ridiculous. And if you've ever watched Coleman speak on any of That Park Place's videos, or if you've ever watched him on a live stream, the guy is legendary. He is savage. He is great, and he's smart. Dude knows his stuff. So he's not done yet. For those reasons, your demands are rejected in whole, and we consider the matter closed. Please direct any further inquiries as may be necessary to the undersigned by email. Very truly yours, Ronald D. Coleman. Yes, a California professional corporation with offices in San Francisco, Newport Beach, Washington, D.C., Alexandria, Newark, New York, West Palm Beach. Literally everywhere. That is great. Rejected in whole, and we consider the matter closed. Like, this is great. And one of the funny parts about this, too, let me see if I can go back and find this here, because this is absolutely hilarious, because this is one of my favorite parts, because this is how great and how much of a laugh everybody is absolutely having about all of this nonsense, because Ron Coleman, no BS, check this out from Valiant Renegade. He's like, it's a real link, because Stuttering Craig did not believe him. Stuttering Craig made a comment about Ron Coleman, how he should get like smartjewlawyer.com because now that they've got a Jew behind him, and it's great. And this is what Jose Rosado says. Damn, they have Jews on their side. It's over, black girls gamer. Ron Coleman points, smartjewlawyer.com. And yes, it's a real link. He literally bought that. That's how much of a joke everybody thinks this nonsense really is, because that's exactly what it is. It's a bunch of nonsense. This is a bunch of posturing. Black girl gamers did not have any idea who they were messing with. They'd probably never heard of That Park Place before this article. They'd probably never heard of WDW Pro. Somebody probably showed them the article, and then they were like, oh, these are probably just some loser nerds in their basement on the internet. We'll whip up a lawyer, we'll see the cease and desist order, and they'll run cowering back to their mommy's basement. Yeah, guess what? Y'all done screwed with the wrong sleeping giant, because that lion's about to roar, and That Park Place just told you to go get bent. And it's a beautiful thing, because guess what? You have no power here anymore. You never did. You never deserved the facsimile of power that you thought you had. The people that got canceled under your regime and the people that cowered to you and bowed down to your nonsense, guess what? It's all gone now. Because the majority of people out there, the common nerd, the average person, the main street of the Western civilization out there, have told you to get bent. They're not buying what you're selling. Your cancel culture and all your woke propaganda nonsense and dividend cult possessed by the spirit of the age bullshit is now being rejected and is failing miserably. And at some point, just like every other Marxist totalitarian system out there, eventually you run out of other people's money. And that's what's happened. You've even seen BlackRock and a lot of other major investment corporations divest themselves from a lot of the DIE, diversity, inclusion, and equity, because they found out that, yes, the acronym, the way I do it, is accurate, because it causes your companies to die. And that's exactly what they've seen happen. Look what happened with every video game out there that Sweet Baby Inc.'s been involved in. Look what's going on with Suicide Squad right now. Like what, maybe an average of 3,000 people playing currently, where Helldivers has got like hundreds of thousands right now. A game that absolutely ultimately flopped and cost that studio hundreds of millions of dollars. You've seen the same thing throughout the modern era in Hollywood. Look at all the hundreds of billions, look at the billions of dollars that Disney's lost over the last couple of years. You saw what happened with Saints Row when they tried to reboot that. That studio no longer exists. They closed up shop. They are gone. With one game. With one game. They are gone. Okay? That shows you how much the pendulum has shifted. The average person, the average American, the average person living in Western civilization has woken up, has rejected this nonsense. Are they all going to become activists? Are they all going to start YouTube and Rumble channels and start screaming about this stuff on Twitter? No. But what they can do is the most powerful thing in the world. They can walk away. And that's what they've done. They've rejected this nonsense. They've rejected your diversity, inclusion, and equity nonsense, trying to change all of their beloved characters, trying to damage them all beyond belief. They're not putting up with it anymore. They're rejecting it. They'll go back and watch old stuff. They'll go back and play old video games. There's a reason why retro video games are on the rise all over the country. There's a reason why you see retro video game stores popping up all over the place. Because guess what? We've got 100 years of cinema, 40, 60 years of video games. We don't need your modern BS. And not to mention, now, with independent studios, whether it be video games or Hollywood, we don't need you anymore. Look at Helldivers, Arrowhead Studios, Pal World, Party Animals, Five Nights at Freddy's, the Ghostbusters movie. Now, given that's made by a major studio, but there's a lot of other things. There's a lot of Godzilla -1, right? A lot of people's movie of the year. Like, we don't need these mainstream corporate psychopaths anymore. Let them continue to bow down to this nonsense. Let them continue to burn their companies down to the ground. Let them be king of the ass sheep when it's all over. Let Black Girl Gamers and Sweet Baby Inc. have it all. Go ahead, AAA Studios. Keep going along with this nonsense. We'll go play Helldivers. We'll go play Pal World. We'll go watch Five Nights at Freddy's. We'll go watch some anime. We don't need you. We don't need you anymore. And that's exactly what this shows. Black Girl Gamers has lost their power. The average person, the common nerd, the average Main Street American, the average Main Street Western civilization individual out there does not give a crap about this. And as soon as we stopped caring And as soon as we stopped being afraid of these people and what they could do to us, the illusion's gone away. They never had power to begin with. They just had the illusion of power. And now that illusion's gone. And we are winning. And that's because of every single one of you out there who has tuned out, tuned off, and walked away. Because you were willing to do that, we've won. And we're going to keep on winning. It doesn't mean things are going to get any easier. It doesn't mean it's not going to get worse before it gets better. But at least we know what we've got to do. Be good watchers on the wall. And let's not let this ever happen again.